I'm him on this front. On the Mardi Gras fight, if you've had a 10-year contract with the city and the contract is up and you have changed, your side of the equation has changed so dramatically, we got to look at it. That's where you are, right?
It is, and I want to clarify some things. No decisions have been made. We actually are talking to Mardi Gras crews right now because we don't want to make a unilateral decision solely focused on our finances. But this is what we have to consider. We have multiple Mardi Gras parades and parades in the city, and the city can't choose winners and losers. We got to make sure that things are fair. So we are talking to them to say, hey, and what does fair look like to you all? We're talking to the other crews as well. We're also in talks with Bossier right now to see maybe if we can loop the route into Bossier, and it could be one of those community events that we really bring people together. But I want to be very clear. I love parades. I love events in our city. It does generate a lot of funding for us, and it's good for our city overall. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep them, but to make sure that it's fair across the board.
Because though some of the crew members are saying the mayor's making us stay on the parkway. You've heard it.
Of course I have. No, and I mean, it would be disingenuous to say those things didn't come up in conversation. But again, we're going to work with them. And one other thing I want to point out, the reason why our finances, wasn't good in the past is because oftentimes with something like this, you talk about economic impact. Well, we aren't the only ones that receive funding from economic impact. So we can't be the only ones to fit the bill either. 2 weekends ago, we hosted the Bayou Classic here. The Tourism Bureau pitched in. This is a space where the Tourism Bureau can jump in and make sure that their finances stay exactly the same. It's not too much of a burden on the crews, and we can have a great event.
You're in a heck of a spot. Ben Raymond's in a heck of a spot. And by extrapolation, Shreveport is in a heck of a spot because of violent crime. Between the facts on the street as they are and the fact that we as a city are losing good policemen, veteran policemen, to other law enforcement entities. How do you, A, take a more proactive approach to stopping crime, violent crime, when you don't have the numbers, and how do you keep the numbers where we have a functional and efficient police department?
The crime in our city is probably the thing. Well, it is not probably. It is the thing that weighs on me the heaviest constantly, because I don't just see these reports. I actually call a lot of the families. I attend funerals, you name it. So I feel these things in a very deep sense. And we're going to do everything that we possibly can to stop it. We know this is a national trend, but we don't have to accept that trend line in our community. So that's why just last weekend we went to New Orleans and Baton Rouge to check out their real-time crime centers. That's the reason why in order to keep our police officers, we've given them a 6% raise. That is the reason why we're looking at contractually how do we keep officers for longer. And we're looking at every possible thing so that we can combat crime and we can lower our violent crime rate right now. It's not acceptable to anybody in my administration. It's not acceptable to Ben Raymond. Clearly, it's not acceptable to our citizens. We're going to continue to push.
But in a country where the cultural zeitgeist, at least on the political left, seems to be defund the police, is there a political will to be a more proactive police department?
Robert, I got to be clear about this. I have been unequivocal in saying I am 100% against defunding the police. If you look at what we've done with the city's finances, we've actually put more money into public safety over this past year with the pay raises, with the purchasing of cars, you name it, because we have to make sure that our officers are equipped with the best equipment and we're using the best tools. So I'm not, if that's the political left, I'm not there on that particular topic. Going further, though, we got to be innovative. We can't just accept what's going on in our community right now. But the critical part of this is we need our citizens to work with us. A lot of these violent crimes are happening because people don't value life. And the Shreveport Police Department will never be able to get to the morality of people. Legislation will never be able to get to morality of people. So this is something we as a community have to come together with as well.